Hi, I wanted to record you guys a video to talk about what's going on this week since your annotated bibliography is due this week. So let's talk about it, especially since you have kind of your rough draft of it is due halfway through the week. So let's talk about what's due this week. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself. Here I am down here. So looking at this, the first thing you have to do this week is your discussion board for this week is your rough draft of your annotated bibliography, right? So the draft of this is just one of your annotations. You just have to have one of them done. And then I want you to also include your thesis statement for your essay, right? So one finished annotation and your current thesis statement. This can change between now and your final essay. You can change your entire topic. It's okay. I don't recommend doing that. Once you get your annotated bibliography done, there's a good chance you'll just want to stick with it to finish out your entire project because you'll have done so much work. But that's the first part of this. Then the second part, that's only with 20 points, right? The other half of these points, which is another 20 points, is going through and giving feedback to at least 3 classmates, right? And that's by midnight Saturday, not Sunday, Saturday. And I want you to answer these questions. I want you to look at their thesis statement. Is it a good one? How would you improve it? Look at their APA formatting. Are there 2 paragraphs there? Do they cover what should be covered? Do you think there's any other sources that you would recommend? And feel free to tangent off. Feel free to talk about other things. But if you want to look at a good example, the top example here is a good one. Here's a thesis statement the student wrote. Is a really good thesis statement. And here's a really good annotation written in APA format. And then they have their 2 paragraphs, right? Explaining and analyzing the source and then talking about how they would use it. So that's what you want to make sure you do for yours, right? So that's the first part of what's due this week. The other part, let me wander back to modules and then go back here to, we're in week 6, the annotated bibliography that is also due this week. So this guy is due Sunday. So hopefully the idea is you get some feedback on at least one of your annotations to make sure that you're doing it correctly. And then Sunday, you get the whole thing in. And for this, you need to have your topic, thesis, and expectations written out for your essay, for your final essay. Again, you can change your mind on your essay later. That's okay. But I want you to have that written out. And then your sources. So you need 10 sources altogether, right? And these sources are really specific. I'll walk you through them right here. Here's a big stickler. When students lose points on this, it's often for writing not enough words. So take a look at all of this, the expectations, make sure you follow them. Here's an example. This is how long you want yours to look. Here's what a good annotation looks like. This is what I'm looking for. And if you're wondering how you're going to get graded on it, you can see the rubric right here. And the rubric walks you through exactly how this works. And this is where you can see if you don't have a long enough annotation, you'll end up getting 16 instead of 20 points. Those are things that are important to notice when you're in college, right? That's how your professors are grading your stuff. So if you have any questions about your annotated bibliography between now and the weekend, please let me know. Get me your questions before Friday, though, because once the weekend hits, if you have questions on the weekend, it'll be really tough for me to answer them. If that happens to you, then what you want to do is ask for an extension and ask me your questions, right? Because then I will answer them probably on Monday or Tuesday, and then you'll have time to actually do the work. So good luck. Hopefully this all makes sense, but please ask me any questions you have. Hopefully looking at each other's annotated bibliographies will give you some inspiration and hopefully give you some ideas about how to focus your own essays. But if you want any help with topics or where to look for your sources or anything at all, I'm here to help. So just let me know. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. And yeah, I'll see you on those discussion boards.